AFGE represents 300,000 civilian DoD workers across the country and overseas. Our members support the active duty military and help protect our national security. We are the largest single union in the Department of Defense and in the federal government. We are also part of the largest federation of unions in the country, the AFL-CIO, which represents more than 12 million active and retired workers.
The AFGE Defense Conference, or DEFCON for short, is a body of elected leaders from AFGE councils and committees. We help train local activists, organize new members, promote AFGE's leadership agenda, and work with AFGE staff and leadership to address issues affecting frontline DoD employees.
AFGE represents tens of thousands of federal workers at military depots and arsenals who ensure our national security at home and overseas. These highly skilled employees maintain, overhaul, and repair complex weapon systems and equipment. We are the only union invited every year to the Department of Defense's Maintenance Symposium, where we meet with defense maintenance professionals from the public and private sectors to discuss challenges facing our maintainers.
AFGE members are the doctors, nurses, and medical staff who treat our active duty service members at military bases across the country. Since DoD consolidated this work under the Defense Health Agency, AFGE has been fighting and winning union elections to serve as the exclusive representative for the DoD healthcare workers nationwide.
Through AFGE DEFCON and AFGE Law Enforcement Steering Committee, we work with bargaining locals and councils to ensure the needs of our federal law enforcement officers are being met. We also work closely with Congress on legislation to improve pay, benefits, and working conditions for federal law enforcement officers and first responders in DoD worldwide.
Military bases are like little cities with their own little retail stores, gyms, childcare centers, and more. The workers in these establishments are called non-appropriated fund employees because our salaries come from the revenue that we generate instead of an annual appropriation by Congress. Many of these employees are spouses of active duty service members and are doing their part to support warfighters every day. I joined AFGE due to a personal situation at work. I went to my union rep at the time and said, hey, if you win my case, I'll join and I'll be a steward. And the case didn't go quite as well as I had hoped. She did everything she could. And I went back to her and I said, I still want to do what you do and I want to join. And from there, it just took off. I love representation and I am here to help the employees because that's what AFGE is here for.
I joined AFGE when I first started working for the federal government. There was an incident at my job. I didn't think I was being treated fairly, and I wanted to know what my rights were. I talked to some people, and one person in particular, and he told me that you need to join the union to get involved, and that was over 50 years ago. And I've been actively involved ever since.
So I joined the union because it's in my heart to be able to help people. When I see people in bad situations, my heart goes out to them, with them not knowing that they have rights, that they're actually protected, whether they're a union member or not, that we are there to help them along the way, whether they're in trouble, whether they're being harassed, whether they're being bullied on the workplace, or they're just being treated unfairly. I joined so I could be able to help them along the way.
I joined AFGE originally to have a voice in the solutions to some workplace issues. It has grown now to dealing with much bigger issues at a very high level, and AFGE has always been the catalyst to get that message across.
I was probably about 26 years old when I took a job in an aircraft hangar in Building 225 at Hill Air Force Base. I'd been working there about a year and was having difficulty getting promoted on the GS side of the house because all the wage grade workers that worked on the aircraft in the hangar would get injured and they would take them and just put them into a position. And so I couldn't get promoted. And one afternoon I was chatting with a guy who said, you need to come over and talk to the union. So I wasn't a member. I went with him to the executive board meeting and met the officers and told them my concerns with what was going on in 225. And next thing I know, they're making me a steward. Within 2 years, I was running for office. I was the secretary for 17 years, executive vice for 4. Took a couple years off, and now I'm the elected treasurer because I knew that there was some things I needed to fix, within the local. And the only way I could do that was to be in that position as a treasurer. So it's been over 30 years. I love AFGE. It's a big part of my life.